No, your bully of a son can't go on our private beach trip. Entitled mother abandons her child. Okay, people of Reddit, I thought I'd share a story from when I was younger and when my children were still young. So this takes place in the summer of 1975. At the time, my sons were 9 and 7. Also, they were in the Cub Scouts. Like most kids, they quickly made friends with the other kids. And as a dad, I made friends with the other dads that volunteered. Most of us got along well with the families except for the entitled mother and her son. The mother was extremely clueless about her own son and basically refused to parent him. She was more into the lifestyle of a mom, being in mommy groups and spending her husband's money rather than being a good parent to her son. The dad was a good person but worked a lot, so he was absent. Her 9-year-old son was a notorious bully. He was overly aggressive, he hit other children, stole items, and extremely disrespectful towards other adults. When the other parents brought this up, she would make constant excuses for him. He's just a boy. He's just expressing himself. Your kid started it. What made it worse is that the entitled mother would pacify her son's behavior with sweets, toys, and other things that he wanted. Because of this, the other parents and I didn't invite the mother and her son to events that took place outside of Scouts. The entitled mother would often call our home about getting sleepovers or having her son play with our kids, which we were adamant about not happening. If we didn't give in, she said, "You're bullying my son by excluding him. How could you do that to a child?" She also threatened to call the governor for discrimination because she's a Baptist. So late June, the other parents and I were talking about a beach trip to Santa Cruz and bringing our families with us. We talked through everything among the 10 other moms and dads about planning this out. The entitled mother must have overheard what we were saying because she just came over with her son and said, "Entitled mother, can you take my son with you? I have to do something with my husband." Me, what? Where? Entitled mother, to Santa Cruz. Me, no. You and your son are not invited. This a friends only trip. Entitled kid, you're a big meanie, kicks me in the leg and runs away. Entitled mother, look what you did. Child hater. She leaves and chases after him. Because this was a big trip, we decided to go shopping and hit the road on Friday. We had to do lots of shopping in bulk to reasonably feed 12 adults and 18 kids. My wife and I, along with 4 other parents, were watching the cars and keeping the kids occupied. For a brief moment, I turned my attention to my car to turn the AC up cause my kids said that they were hot. I turn over and the entitled boy is there with his bag and the mom peeling out in her station wagon. We are all just in shock, asking ourselves, is this really happening to us? The boy's mother gave him a note that had his allergies and an emergency phone number. We call, no answer. We can't leave the kid here alone and we're not going to bring him with us, so we opted to call the police. We put the kid in the car to keep him out of the sun, and we made the call. We report entitled mother for the abandonment of her child. They sent an officer out in 15 to 20-ish minutes. The other parents and I go back to our cars to look out for the police. When we get back, entitled boy is pulling my 4-year-old daughter's hair. The reason why? The kids had some snacks in the cooler and didn't want to share them with entitled boy. What later proceeded as we were running to the car is 10 of the boys pull the entitled boy of my daughter and proceed to beat his ass. Now the kids had 2 years of rage towards this kid bottled up inside, so what took place wasn't surprising. The entitled kid is bleeding, crying. He says that we're all mean and started demanding food from us. He was cussing us out, hitting things, and said, "Entitled boy, I want to go on the trip. I want to go on the trip. I want to go on the trip now." He kept parroting this over and over again. I yelled to him, "Shut up," which only made him cry more. Now I will admit I was probably in the wrong here, but this one of the few children I have truly hated in my life. The police arrived soon after and we explained what happened. Apparently, he has dropped off at his father's job. The mother received a child neglect charge. When she saw that our kids beat up her, she tried to charge our kids for assault. It was dropped because it was self-defense. But all in all, my friends and our kids had a great week in Santa Cruz. If you wonder what happened to entitled mom and son, the mom is still married to the dad. We don't talk to her since our kids aged out of Scouts. The son is a 55-year-old man-child who is a creep that tries to pick up college girls, and he neglects his 4 kids. Well, that's my story, Reddit. That's all, folks. Now to the second story. $3,000 laptop nearly stolen. Max story. So basically, a new family moved into my neighborhood. The kid from the family was trying to introduce himself to other neighbors. EP, entitled parent. EK, entitled kid. Me, mom. Okay, so basically I was playing Fortnite in my room when I heard a knock at the front door. My mom answered the door and my mom told me the conversation. Hi, can I help you? EK, yeah, I just moved in and I'm trying to make friends. Well, I have a son who's playing video games upstairs. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. EK, okay cool thanks. So he came up to my room and asked what I was doing. I said I was just playing some Fortnite. He asked if he could play and I said yeah sure go for it. He played a couple of games when his mother came and knocked. My mom directed her to my room and went back to the kitchen as she was cooking dinner. I told him see ya later. He seemed like a cool kid. The next day my mom told me the kid called and asked if I wanted to come over and I said yeah sure why not. Oh boy was I wrong. So I brought my laptop over to his house and he asked if we could play Fortnite again. I said sure sounds goods. Then as he was playing I needed to use the bathroom. As I was on the toilet I overheard the kid and mother talking about my laptop. This happened 2 weeks ago so this is how I remember their conversation. Having fun. EK, yeah the laptop is so cool and I can play Fortnite I wish I had it. Well then we can keep it he wouldn't mind anyway. EK, really? Thanks, Mom. I was shocked when I heard this. I quickly finished up and came back. I said hi to his mom and said it's best if I start going. The mom hesitated and said no stay you're having fun. I said yeah but I best be off. The mom then locked the door and said you're not leaving with the laptop. I said what the duck do you mean it's mine? Apparently, the kid done better in his grades and deserved a present. I told her to go buy one. She said you're such a loser, you don't need one you're 15, and he's 13 so why do you care? His mom wouldn't let me out until I gave him the laptop. I tried to force my way out but then she threatened to hit me with a belt. I said for fuck's sake fine take it. I pretended to give the laptop then went to the bathroom and called the cops. Cops came for minutes later and knocked hard. She panicked and opened the door shakily. I explained what happened and proved it was my laptop by the certificate on the computer. She was arrested for kidnapping, abuse, and theft. Her son still gives me death stares. Crazy. His mother was taken to a mental hospital and the kid had to go to a foster family. I only see him at school. She was found guilty for abusing her son, threatening a minor, kidnap, and theft. And let's get on with the third story, entitled Mom Tries to Shoot My Eye Out at Paintball Park. So I and my dad, mostly me, are really into paintball. I got a GEO4 and a new freak kit for my birthday. And I like to be comfortable when I'm playing, meaning I don't like to wear winter clothing while playing my dad, and I thought we should just wait for spring to roll around, meaning now. The cast Mom Ek 1, Kid 1 Ek 2, Kid to Stee. Sweet dad me D, my dad. As in my dad is entering the pro shop. Comes up to me and asked if I would go easy on Ek 1 and Ek 2. I say sure because I could tell that they were younger than me and that they were new to paintball. I and my dad are filling up our pods and hoppers so we can start heading down to the field to play. But came up to me and my dad to ask if we could give them some paint. Could we have a case or two of your paint please? Me, sorry mom, but me and my dad are planning to use all of our cases of paint. Ginny, we should be fine. We can always buy more if we need any more. But they have so much paint. They aren't gonna use all of it. Now may I reminded you that I and my dad are really into paintball, so we usually get 6 cases of paint to last us the whole day. If we have any left over at the end of the day, we will give the rest of the paint to you. Snarled at us in a discussion like we just pissed on each other right in front of her. Skip an hour and 30 minutes or so, and me and my dad are on the opposite team of the family. Now call me a prick, but I wanted to get the mom out as disrespectful as I could, but in a way that is deemed sportsmanlike. Now at Paintball Park, bunkering when you shoot someone up close was allowed, and I plan to use it to my fullest extent. As I'm playing, Ek 1 and 2 are not calling a single hit and are wiping off the paint marks. I get pissed and I go for the hand because being a host in the hand is one of those spots you don't want to get hit along with your boobs, crotch, neck, and eye. Ek 1 starts crying and a referee takes him out of the match. The mom was pissed. She started to walk towards me, and as soon as she was 20 feet away, I popped 3 in her leg and 1 on the mask. The ref pulled her out of the match and the game ended. As we are in the safe zone, Ek finds GEO2 and starts to fake shoot people with it. I snatched it away from him and tell him to never point guns at things. Ek 2, can I use your gun please? Me, no. My gun is important to me and is also very expressive. I don't want anything to happen with it. Ek 2, I want to use the gun now. Chad, not real name. Let's go over there and look at the other matches. Ek 2, no, I want to use the gun. Why won't you let him use the gun? I just got it for him for his birthday, and this is brand new and quite expensive. We just don't want to run any risk of damage. Oh come on, our guns costed $50 each. Your gun isn't expensive at all. It's just like all the others. The game was about to start, but I realized Ek 1 took my mask. HK Army something I forget. As I'm chasing Ek 1 around the safe zone, Ecta shoots me 8 times under my eye. I fucking turned around to see M helping her hellspawn shoot me. I snapped. Me and D, what the duck are you doing? I could have lost an eye or worse and you just help your son do this to me. The actual duck lady? The 2 kids start to cry and M was crying too. A ref came over to see what the problem was and M tried to play the victim by saying that I was framing them by rubbing paint on my face to make it look like they shot me. I swear Steve gathered up all his strength to say that his wife and son did it and that he was done with her. The cops were called by me and my dad and we pressed charges against M. And our court date is being decided. And yes, we gave all of our paint to Steve at the end of the day. Now let's get to the final story. I stopped coaching because the parents were so entitled. I worked as a gymnastic coach for a year or 2 in college. The training was fun and we always had a good time, but then I was assigned to work on post. Post, for those that might not know, is referring to an army base. I was also military National Guard, so I knew how the atmosphere usually was. But what I didn't account for were the parents. At the other gym, the parents would drop off the kids and usually leave. Not here. The parents would literally sit in different areas right next to the floor and watch the children's every freaking breath and every single thing the coaches did. I swing my arms and snap my fingers by my side quietly when I'm focusing. And a mom rushed to my head coach and frantically said I was snapping in her daughter's face. I was not, nor had I ever done so. My boss calls me the next day and tells me how rude and unacceptable that is. And when I explained to her I never did that, she didn't even believe me. Military moms are a whole extra monster when it comes to parenting because for most that is literally all they do all day. So they sit there and watch the entire time, always yelling at their kids and distracting everyone frequently. This was extra annoying because they also believed they could boss the coaches around. Parents would yell, Massazins already knows that. Lakeland knows how to do that, you don't have to correct her. Can you teach them something harder? Like that? The worst though were parents that brought their kids just to let them have playtime in the gym. The gym was solely for gymnastics, not a playground. And some kids actually wanted to learn and not be distracted every 5 minutes by another kid running in the tumble lanes or hopping on a trampoline. Parents knew this when they signed up. They had to sign paperwork saying this is a training gym, not a playing gym. One kid, in particular, was a WEFUL, and I don't think had ever in his life heard the word stop, no, don't do that, etc. His mom did nothing every time, just Saturday on her phone with headphones and ignoring everything. It was obvious she used the gym as her babysitter. We would talk to her about her kid and she would just say, oh well, kids do that. So one day we had enough of him being a terror and my assistant coach just took him to his mom and told her to leave. I've never seen a woman more shocked in my life. She was pissed and started cursing and threatening us. So we had to get our head coach and security to calm her down. Our coach took our side, and thankfully the woman never came back. Parents would also rush onto the mat while we were coaching to film their kids or take pics of them doing literally anything. This would pretty much stop the whole class so Karen could get a picture of her kid hanging from the bars for the 15th time. If a kid fell, tumbled too hard, scraped a knee, etc., parents would lose it. This is also in the waiver, your kid might get some scrapes and bruises while learning. The entire gym literally is covered in foam mats for Christ's sake. They will live. But parents were convinced their kid was in mortal danger. One time I caught a young girl like we are trained to do when she fell off the balance beam. The kid was 100% cool, but here comes mom full speed sprinting across the gym sobbing. Oh my god, how could you let her fall? She's so scared, she's got a concussion. This is the worst, I can't believe you've done this. I probably calmed down more parents than kids crying in the gym. My final straw was when we did evaluations. Evaluations determined if your kid was ready to move up a class and learn harder stuff when the new quarter started. Oh boy, this is when parents would get a wake-up call. We always told parents at the end of every lesson what their child could do to succeed. Lacey needs to do a couple of push-ups each day to get her arms ready for tumbles. Sammy needs to run a little so she can do vault next quarter, things like that. So absent parents who just brought their kids to run around got a big slap in the face. After evaluations, we would bring the form to the parents and would explain if their kid was ready to move up. And if they weren't, we would have valid reasons. Parents got mad all the time, swearing their kid was ready to move up when they couldn't even do the basics in their current class. They would argue, demand a re-evaluation, threaten to leave the gym. You get it. My head coach was strict on this, as she should have been. Moving a kid up that isn't ready can result in injuries super easy. Well, we had this one older child in particular that broke my heart. She was overweight for her age, at least for sizes bigger than the rest of her class. So she couldn't really do any of the exercises, tumbles, bars, or anything past a level 1. She tried so hard though, and I and other coaches gave her extra attention and told Mom numerous times that she might need extra exercise at home to succeed. Can you guess what Mom did? Nothing. So when evils came around, we had to fail her and keep her a level 1 while most of her peers moved up. We always handed the evil papers straight to the parents and explained to them why their child wasn't ready to move up. Obviously, you don't look a kid in the face and tell them why they failed. That's messed up. But a couple of minutes after explaining to Mom why her daughter failed, the girl comes up to me sobbing. She's holding her paper and chokes out, "My mom wants you to tell me why I didn't move up." Duck that. I went back to the mom and again explained that we don't tell kids why they didn't move up, but instead let the parents explain it and let them try again next quarter. The girl was still crying her eyes out and the mom was still not getting it. I just don't see how she's any worse than the other girls. Why is it 'cause she's fat? My blood boiled. Her daughter obviously could hear us. No, it's because you did not follow any of our advice. You are the parent, and at home, you are responsible for her. She's not getting support outside the gym, and so it's your fault she's not moving up. Yeah, she didn't like that. I told her she needed to have a meeting with the head coach if she still didn't get it. That her comments were not okay. She pitched a fit and just took the girl and stormed out. I quit the next week. TLDR, parents at my gymnastics job were a menace and made coaching their kids damn near impossible. One woman blamed the coaches for her daughter being overweight and not succeeding. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching.